What is wrong with it? I don't know. I don't know. Hello, it's Chris, and welcome back to Something Else Amiga. What do we have today? Today we have yet another Amiga 3000 repair. This comes to us 3,000 some odd miles away over in the United Kingdom from Courtney. So Courtney, here is your 3000. What is wrong with it? I don't know. I don't know. It's broken and doesn't work. It is a 16030 at 25 megahertz, thank goodness. Battery damage doesn't look too bad at all, but looks can be deceiving. You know, these things kind of throw up, people clean them up, and yeah, they age and get underneath of things. So we're going to do a preliminary fire up, checking both sides. I don't see a lot, but I see some crustiness around the logic, and that's always a telltale sign of, you know, Denise, Paula. I can see it's green, but I'm going to ignore that and just put it down. The daughter board is the Rev 7. You need a daughter board in order to test an Amiga 3000's boot. I do always use my spare power supply with the broken button. So what I always do is have it on a Memorex Power Center switch. I rest it on the SCSI port because it elevates it perfectly. That's mono vacuuming upstairs. I'm in the basement, as you probably know. The crystal on this thing has the longest legs I've seen in a while. So it's a PAL crystal on a weird riser peg with some lines underneath. I don't know if you can see where my fat pickle finger is. That's a drag solder bodge repair. Let's get this turd fired up. ROM 0 V5. They're probably the 1.4 Super Kickstart ROMs. I'm sorry about the noise upstairs. Apparently the carpet is very dirty. Here we go. No disc in the drive, just to see what we get. We get video signal on RGB and probably nothing. Black screen, just wonderful. Nothing's happening, no boot screen, no nothing. Alright, so we'll just pretend we didn't see that. First, I'm going to put some regular ROMs in it. I have this Workbench 2.0 set that I kind of use, and a lot of you have donated some ROMs to me. Thank you very much. Got a lot of ROMs. I've used most of them, but a lot of these have ROMs. You guys have contributed ROMs. I always use everything I can to help everybody out. So thank you for those of you who have donated parts and supplies to me. I greatly appreciate it. Boy, our carpet must be freaking filthy, you think? It's pretty bad. That socket's loose. It looks good, but it's loose. Workbench 2 ROMs. Let's see what happens. Da-boom. VGA signal. See nothing. Oh boy. I can tell you why this ain't working right now. Yippee-yay. So I'm going to use the Jonard on 50% of a Denise. And then I'm going to use the Jonard on 50% of a Denise. And I'll pick it out. Well, status quo. This socket is bad. Paul is not even touching anything. So that's got to come out. We got scratches and wires and fixes for traces. Some crazy wiring on some ceramics. What does that mean, Chris? That means that we have to replace sockets again on a 3000 again for another bottom of the ocean machine again. So if you're familiar with the Amiga 3000 board, I'm going to zoom in here just a tickle, give you a taste. This is Denise, this is our graphics chip, this is Paula, I/O and audio. They work together with Agnes here and make your stuff work. There's a lot more to it than that. But if you'll notice in this area here and this monster truck of a solder ball, you'll notice that something is a little bit up. You see that white crap around the pins? You got it. That's battery acid that's leaked through the pin, and you will notice right here there is a massive hole, like somebody shot this right there. Just shot it. That's not right. This right here is green, and all these pins. So I'm going to take this socket and this socket out, clean the board here, and let's see what we get. So Denise here, we are, I don't even know if you can really tell the nastiness because of the massive lights. From here to here are green and corroded. There's nothing there. Cool. Not too bad, but battery acid has went all the way from the top all the way to the bottom. Remember what I told you about looks can be deceiving? You take their clothes off and they haven't bathed in a long time. But the benefit of this is you kind of get a visual of where your problems are going to be. I do see a screwdriver gouge and a ROM line from a screwdriver Denise removal. From there, I'm going to have to check Agnes if Denise was this crusty. I'll pull her out, wash her butt, put her back in. If I have to, I do have sockets. And amber has been scratched. I have amber sockets if needed, but we'll cut to that if we get that far. The board has been squished on the bottom here, as noted by this smashed LED. It's 4:14 p.m. on Sunday. Alright, had to resort to using the Sucker 6000. Denise and Paula are now out. Check out these onions. Here's Denise. You can see the crustiness and acid. But Paula is way worse. Now you're thinking, that doesn't look bad. It doesn't look too bad. But there's a lot of acid through here, and I have a gouge here that I have to fix. All this crap up in here has had some bodge fixes to it, solder drags, etc. And there's a lot of, you can see that one hole clearly. She was a ground pen, don't worry about that. I'm going to clean this up with some IPA and a scrub, and we're going to see what it looks like. So as you can see here, here is Paula, and there is her sister Denise. Looks a lot better, doesn't it? The battery area, those three holes are now clean. It's a little crusty, and there's some bodge drags here and there. I don't know what the previous repair attempts on this were. Now, you can also go in fiberglass pen and wake up your sockets if your metal is a little bit crusty. So there's our crusty, not so crusty Paula anymore, and here's her sister Denise. You can clearly see all of those vias are brighter. Are they perfect? No, but they look a hell of a lot better than acid damaged yuck. When I said I was running out of sockets, I'm running out of sockets. 5:20 p.m. 2 sockets in. Whoops, wrong side. 2 sockets in. Bing, bing. I'm going to take a bronze brush, a little bit of deoxit. Same direction. I'm not scrubbing back and forth. I'm scrub, scrub, scrub. Just kind of knocking the crap off of it. Contact cleaner. You can see shiny silver again. My fingers are gross and frozen. Yay. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to repeat that on Denise. Use this WD-40 brand contact cleaner. There's Denise. She's got
magic legs.
Very nice. You can see it there. Very nice. Both sides. The legs are nice and better. Let's set up for a retest here. We have nothing at all. This crystal is warm. Why would your crystal oscillator be warm? And why is it up so high? Why is it on pegs? And there's a slice underneath of there and a bodge. I need to check these things. 5:30 p.m. and I'm hungry. I'm going to go get some dinner. And I'll work on this a little more later on. Trying to take y'all's advice. Not live on these things. Just take my time. So that's what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, it makes my repairs take longer, which I don't like doing. So, welcome back to like a week or so later. This crystal here is on this SIL turn pin pedestal. And we're going to look right here. So, she's up on risers because there's a solder drag. That's a massive ball of wire that could have been done underneath. I don't know. Everybody's got their own way of repairing things, but that crystal on a socket is not good because it's too loose. Yep, they're just SIL turn pin. I need some more temperature. 300 degrees Fahrenheit is not enough. With those legs removed, this is the crystal. So, and then there's some goofiness here, and that's ground, don't care. That bust, that bust. And I guess I'll check everything else out. Look at that. So that's looking good. There's all the busts and cuts, and we got some on this side now. That's ground plane, I believe. I'm okay. This thing, previous repair, I'll check continuity on that. And then continue. I removed that little bodge blob of solder that was underneath the crystal, and I think I'm onto something. So you can see the top right pin here. That is not flux. That is just stabs and what the hell ever. I don't know. The line of busted is another stab that went through the board into the fiberglass and broke that trace. I don't know how that happened, but I'm going to attempt to fix it using SIL turn pins as a crystal holder. While an interesting idea, the diameter of the turn pin, 2.54 millimeter spacing, I know singles versus the 0.3 of a pin of a crystal doesn't match. It's doing bang, 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 and it's not making contact. That's why they're soldered in. You can get crystals that are tighter, but use the V-style sockets so you can just... I might have to do that. That way, you know, it's a little bit better off. Like taking one of these guys and popping out the metal of the pins on the end, and that way it just sits in there, and you can actually get it really flush. And I can trim the legs down for even a closer fit. But that's what I might have to do. Did you fix it? I did. How did I fix it? I took a sacrificial capacitor and cut a little piece of the leg off. Sorry for the fat squeaks. So now this was pre-gouged, pre-me. But we now have an actual piece of metal that I used the fiberglass pen to expose that trace. Now it's still a little dirty. I gotta clean it up. You can see the flux marks, but you can really see the gouging of the previous attempt at this. I also noticed another area where this C111 stuff is. There's a big punch right there under the word C. I have to check that out. This pizza just keeps adding toppings. And now I have beeps. Wow, that's a really big... Suck that in there. Even more fun, there is a 100 nanofarad cap that goes to the right there, and it's missing on this board too. That would help. A little bit of a later time. We have a ball sack cap that's slightly larger, and the crystal has been soldered in. The wire, there was a bust in the trace next to this cap. See that R and C in between that goldish silver line? That was a break. Looks like a stab when it was the crystals being removed. Now the crystal's in. She's tight. She's PAL. That would prevent this machine from starting. Alright. Well, enough of that horseplay. Next. Whew, that was fun. It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon now. I pulled out Agnes and Gary so I could continuity test their pins, and I ran into a strange situation. Unlike the 12th pin over, 11th pin over, from here it goes around the socket, and there's a little dot, and then it goes underneath to a little dot, and goes to R202, right? Resistor, no big deal. Little tiny thing, goes straight across. Long story short, That's busted. There was some previous solder there. There's a blob of solder on the corresponding dot. So on the bottom, there's that pin. I just ran it to that daggone resistor, and now I have continuity all through. Just this little jump right here was busted, and that's in the firing line of, so it's literally like right underneath it. You know, still gotta recap everything, but we don't recap anything until we get some life. So, with that repaired, with the clock repaired, with several traces underneath repaired, I pinned out, continuity checked every single line on Denise. I didn't do Paul yet. This should work. I hope. Alright. We are in amber. No floppy. I'm not hooking a floppy up yet. I'm going to watch for the low highlights here. I'm going to turn this off. Can you see it light? Okay, so here we go. Low, high. Scuzzy blip. White screen. Alright, white screen is okay. I should get a pause because no floppy, no scuzzy. It's going to freak out and then I'll get a ROM screen. Holy Christmas, Batman. Yes, a month on this bastard. Let me take a quick photo for the owner. Alright, so that's the owner's, or my ROMs in here. Now, let's test those original ROMs that we have a working system. As usual, those friggin' ROMs are dead. 1, 2, let's just verify it with mine. My ROM's in. These are 2.0s. Yeah, low, high, and it'll pop right up. Now, let's try this thing. This is sysinfo. This is my go-to to test the wrong insertion of zip RAM. Like, it works in ATK, but when you load sysinfo, when it loads setpatch, if this thing is wrong, it'll freak out. If the RAM is in the wrong order, if you have some crazy crap. And I'm like literally running out of this zip 20. The donations that I had and everything. We're good. We're good, sir. 030, 882. Cowabunga. Memory. 8 megs of RAM. 2 mega chip. Alright, so we got bad ROMs. Go figure. We had a busted ROM line. We had a busted Denise line. We had a bad clock. Solder drags that were incomplete. They're fixed with a piece of metal rod in between that stab. Fix the Denise socket and the Paula socket. We're booting sysinfo on RGB, but here's the but. Here's the J-Lo. Do we get amber? Whoa. I'm gonna unplug this and we're gonna go into amber in the disabled position. Alright, so amber and disabled is weird. Why is it weird? Because it's a PAL Amiga on a NTSC monitor, but that doesn't mean it's bad. What happens is this. VC470 is a trimmer cap that's blue. And if I touch it, we get wiggles. It happens all the time. You can toss a little deoxit down there. It's this blue girl right there. I do have replacement spares, but she's tight. She might be a little goopy inside. So what you can do is the deoxit trick. I lost my straw. It's got like the little WD-40 straw, so we're just going to squirt it. It'll lube in there and get everything right. Now, in one of my bits, I wrapped my screwdriver with paper. Tape. Paper masking tape. Because you cannot have anything touch the ground walls or the screw itself because it changes the phase current. Always start by adjusting the back dude, the dude in the back, right? Always go for the back side first, if you can. That doesn't require a paper tape. Now that's a phase adjustment. If I can turn this and get it, oh, I had it. And get her just right, she'll clear up like perfect. Oh yeah, I went a little too far there. The tape fell off because I had freaking deoxit all over it. And then it just works. Crazy. So the tape I'm using, because I'm too cheesy to go get a plastic screwdriver, is the 3M Painter's blue tape. We're going to go into CIAs first. I need to see if these are working because, oh yeah, we got a bad CIA. Poopy poop. I knew it. Why? Because my freaking external floppy's not working. Those are pico fuses. 4 amp little bastards. Does we have continuity across it? From here to here? Fuse 300. And... no. No. Top one? Good. Bottom one? Or F300? No. It has a dot on it too, so it's been swapped on. Or the dot means it's working. So somebody's been in here testing on these. I'm going to flip them, and I'm going to see if we get the same error on the other side. So let me hook this turkey back up. We'll see what we're getting. Alright, so let's go into CIA. Now the display looks crystal clear. Nice. Look at that. CIA, timers. This is PAL machine, so it's in PAL. Alright, so now we're in 60 Hertz. I just want to see something. Alright, so I jumpered it into NTSC to make sure we're good. I don't know why that failed. 50 Hertz Amiga, 60 Hertz power supply. What could go wrong? Do we get audio? Forgot to turn the volume up. Might help. We good? My brain hurts. It's been all morning. I need to go get some cholesterol and something. You know what we're I think I'm having a stroke. Now I noticed here on this diode and this cap that this trace was popped before. I haven't really checked into it because I didn't really, think too much. Looks like an external SCSI line. Yeah, that was going to a diode. Okay, on careful fiberglass pen inspection of this diode thing. It's not burnt, it's just missing. Look. It's missing. There's nothing in that trace. I hit it with a fiberglass pen to get the copper out, and there's no copper there. In the top left of this corner, there's a little bit of what used to be copper, and it just either burnt, broke, or whatever. I don't know. So I'm going to run a wire to it. It goes to a diode, and that'll fix that. Okay, just like that. The second wire repair on the whatever port is done. I wrapped it around the exact same location that the original trace busted from, so it's needs to be cleaned up. A little flux wash. Rock freaking solid. Rock freaking solid. Look at that. I'm gonna zoom in here just so you know it's not camera correction. Look at that. Boom, baby. Yes, it's in 60 Hertz. Here's 50. Let's see how it does. NTSC monitor. It still looks good. Takes this thing a little bit to adjust. There you go. 50 Hertz. Native dude. You can see it right there. 50 Hertz. And, yep. Cool. Now, I got this sucker jumpered into NTSC. Let's jumper back to PAL. Here we go. There's PAL, 50 Hertz, ECS PAL all day long. Look at that. Nice high resolution-ish PAL amber. Ooh, so it's the next day. I got things 0.3% cleaned up, and I am now going to start the actual recap. I was going to do it last night. I just ran out of power. Brain started hurting. And, yeah. So, unit works. Unit's repaired. Now we're going to do the actual recapping of the unit. It's going to take me a couple hours. I'm just going to blip back and it's going to be done. It's 2.5 hours later. And all the capacitors are now done. You can see all those red dots. I like it if you don't. Take some alcohol. Take it off. I've cleaned most of the board because I've had to go in it and wipe off the flux. But as you can tell by the shine, it's a hell of a lot more clean than when it arrived. I would love to have a massive, big ultrasonic, except mine is about this big and can fit maybe an Amiga 3000 power supply like you saw in one of my previous videos. 5:20 p.m. and I am a little bit beat, so I am going to take a small breather and get something to eat. I didn't eat lunch today, or did I? I don't know. And then I'm going to burn some 3.1 ROMs because the user's ROMs were dead meat, and they're dead. I need my Workbench 2 ones. They're the only ones I have. That's kind of a neutral territory, depending on where I want to go. we're going to go for a reassembly again and a final test, and then this puppy is done. Okay, so final day of the 3000. I hooked up my SCSI to SD. This has an image from my 3000. The noise you're hearing, I am 3D printing parts for the drive tray and the floppy tray. There's a blinky blink of booting. That verifies that the SCSI bus works. The audio we already checked, CIAs. Everything else has been checked, repaired, fixed, updated, new ROMs, magic freaking workbench to make you just feel wonderful waiting for a delayed boot. 8 megs of RAM, well 6 megs because I got a bunch of crap loaded. 2 megs of chip. This has all the stuff for my 3000 tower, I believe, so it's set in like an ECS mode. Anywho, that wraps it up for this Amiga repair. 100% restored, complete, repaired, a general butt wipe, heat sink on the 030 to keep her cool. Everything checked out wonderful, and we're good to go. So by the time this video comes out, the owner should have this unit back and should be enjoying it immensely. Thank you guys for coming along on this journey, and until next time, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.